Trigger warning. There will be discussion of mental health, genocide, war, and trauma in this video. Hey there! Welcome to your Big Brother place. I'm Bez, pronouns he, they, and I'd like to tell you a little story. When I was a teenager, I used to play a lot of visual novels. My favorites were Herofana by Luna Sheka and Magical Diary by Hanako Games, which is called Magical Diary Horse Hall now. I loved both of them in different ways. Unfortunately though, as I grew older, visual novels kind of went by the wayside, excluding a few projects by friends of mine. With my sister, a huge visual novel fan, who got me back into the VN groove. She encouraged me to try out Code Realized Guardians of Rebirth, a steampunk Gatone game of epic proportions. I went in kind of hesitant, but now it's become one of my favorite games ever. Guardians of Rebirth is the story of Cardia Beckford, a secluded young woman with a horrible power. Her body contains a deadly poison, which melts everything she tries to touch. She also has a mysterious stone embedded in her chest called the Horigium, which powers her body. And the British government tries to kidnap her for their own reasons. She's rescued by infamous thief Arsène Lupin, who brings her to steampunk-powered London to help her find her father. On the way, she meets Impy Barbicane, the engineer, Saint Germain, the Count, Victor Frankenstein, the alchemist, and Abraham Van Helsing, the sharpshooter. Meanwhile, a shadowy organization called Twilight, led by a mysterious individual named Finis, wants to capture Cardia. Will Cardia find her father and find love along the way? If I had to describe Code Realize, I would call it emotionally mature. This game covers a wide range of topics from PTSD to genocide to interpersonal trauma, and it does it all very well. It really balances the romance with the dark themes, and I think it does so brilliantly. Oh yeah, and there's a dog with a heart on its fur. I mean, that's an instant 10 out of 10 right there. But seriously, let's give a look into what today's Code Realize special. P.S. At the end of the video I'm doing a giveaway, so stay until the end. To start with, we have to look at our protagonist, Cardia. My first impression of her was that she encapsulated the born sexy yesterday trope that Pop Culture Detectives describes in the video I'll link in the description. Thankfully, we soon see Cardia grow into her own, and become a very rounded character. She starts out as a woman naive to the outside world, thanks to her father Isaac Beckford forcing her to grow up alone in a mansion, and the fact that she was deemed a monster by the few people she interacted with. But thanks to her newfound friends, she learns about the world, gains self-love and acceptance, gets agency, and learns what it means to truly live. In the main story, Cardia goes through a variety of situations with her group of guys. From running out of money, to entering an aircraft show, to hijacking a train. They go through quite a few adventures together. And then, after the main story, there's the romance pass. Now, Arsène Lupin is the true rat of this game, so we're going to save him for last. Alright, let's go over all the love interests, see what makes them special, see what makes them great. And there will be spoilers, so you know, so you haven't played the game, I highly recommend it. And away we go. First, let's discuss the most light-hearted of all the boys. It's Impy Barbicane, everyone! Constant flirt, genius engineer who wishes to travel to the moon. He's the all-in package, folks. Get him while he's still single, ladies! During his path, you get to know and understand Impy a lot better. And you even learn that he's a vampire. The main plot consists of taking down the Nautilus, a huge flying fortress that uses an invention stolen from Impy to fly, his anti-gravity device. And so, he and Cardia go up aboard the ship to retrieve it, and therefore stop the Nautilus from terrorizing London. One of the things I admire about Impy is his positivity. As a vampire, he's part of an oppressed class of people who have been through so much. He has every right to be angry at the world, like the other vampires in the story, Democrats too. But he chooses to stay positive and try to use his inventions for good. I don't mean to say that anger is a bad thing in this situation. Delacroix's anger is perfectly valid. I just mean to say that Impy approaches things in a very different attitude. Though I do have a confession to make, Impy's not my favorite in the romance valve. I mean, he's fine, but his constant womanizing of Cardia kind of made me uncomfortable. So I could never get used to that. Sorry, it's just not for me. Next up is Van Helsing, and whew boy, this guy has some heavy stuff. He's a former member of Twilight known as the Human Weapon, and he took part in the Vampire Wars, a quote-unquote war that was really just Britain trying to wipe out the entire vampire population. And out of fear and protecting his family, Van Helsing murdered many vampires, including the peaceful king, which left the king's son Delacroix II orphaned. In his path, a serial killer is loose on the streets of London, and it's up to us to try and stop them before violence rises. On the way, you help Van Helsing learn to find forgiveness for his horrible crimes, and set him on the path of redemption. In the end, it's Helsing's former mentor, Alistair, who is the villain, by filling people with hidden strength, a type of drug. He has given hidden strength to Van Helsing too, and he wants Van to feel just as evil as he is. So he activates Van Helsing's hidden strength in order for Van to kill Cardia. In the good ending, Cardia is able to bring Van back to his senses and stop Alistair. A few months later, the two of them dance together happily. This route has it all. Discussion of PTSD, trauma, forgiveness. It's a very interesting route because of all the themes it touches on, and I really admire it for that. I also appreciated Van's true ending, where he's the bodyguard of a pro-vampire member of the Parliament, and is helping to take steps for the vampire population to recover. Van Helsing has got to be my second favorite boy. There's a lot of questionable things in his route, mainly the many war crimes he took part in, but you can definitely see that he's trying to learn and be better and move forward as a better man, and I admire that in a person. All in all, I have to say, Shooty Bang Boy is trying his best. Now we have Saint Germain, a mysterious count who lets the gang live in his estate. He's a strange fellow, but his true nature unravels during his romance route. We learn that Saint Germain works for an organization called IDEA, which is basically God's immortal spec ops team. They go around the world trying to balance good and evil as best they can, and doing that usually means taking lives. Since Cardia is an abominable monster, created not through normally but through science, as we learn in the true main story, IDEA has concluded that she needs to be eliminated, and they leave Saint Germain up to the task. However, he ends up falling in love with his target instead. I have to admit, I wasn't a huge Saint Germain fan at first. I get the tropes that they're going for, and I appreciate them, but at the same time, I found his relationship with Cardia to be uncomfortable and kind of creepy as killer and hunted, you know? I did learn to empathize with him and understand him more in the second game, Future Blessings, which I hope to get to also on this channel. But I just think he's okay in this game. That's just my opinion. If you love Saint Germain, tell me why in the comments. And now, I say my favorite boy, before we talk about Lupin anyway, for last. Victor Frankenstein, or Fran as his friends call him, is a kind-hearted man who used to be a royal alchemist in the palace, serving under Queen Victoria. But his discovery of the poison Zicterium leads to drastic consequences. Not only did his fellow royal alchemist Isaac Beckford, Cardia's father, use it to create Cardia and Finis, the poison was used during the Vampire Wars to murder an untold number of innocents. He blames himself for the genocide, since his research of the poison led directly to it. Fran's path is focused on finding the Zicterium and destroying it before it can be used by Victoria, who's planning to use the poison to kill the poor of London and spark a new world war. During his path, we also get time to comfort Fran and help ease his feelings of self-hatred, building up his confidence as the two of you vow to stop Victoria together. So why is Victor my favorite boy? Oh, let me count the ways. I find his soft personality to be very comforting, and I really relate to his self-doubt. As a traumatized person myself, who's been through a lot of shit, I personally empathize with Victor a lot. He's just a really soft boy, and he's great. In conclusion, Glasses boy, good. And with that out of the way, we can finally talk about Lupin. His route basically meshes part of the other routes together, bringing in the Nautilus from the Ifri's route, having Idea intervene in the present event, and of course, the Zicterium, which is the poison in Cardia's body. In the main route, before the plot deviates based on your love interest, we learn that Finis, leader of Twilight, is Cardia's brother, and that she and Finis are both homunculus, created by their father Isaac Beckford for a specific purpose. In this path, we find out what that purpose is, so Isaac Beckford can use Finis as a vessel, and Cardia's core GM as an infinite energy source, and therefore become a god who plunges the world into endless war. I know it sounds really weird when I say it like that, but I promise you that's what the game is going for. Isaac Beckford wants to do this ultimately to reunite his family, as his natural-born children were killed in a mob's fire. That was what triggered him to create the two homunculuses. And they were designed to be copies of both his dead children and also vessels for him to become a god and reunite his family again. But of course, you have to stop him because he wants to plunge the world into endless war. Lupin manages to help save the day, but Finis, Cardi's brother, falls to his doom. Don't you worry though, he gets so dark in the sequels, so oh boy, don't worry about that. So don't think about it, just think about how Lupin and Cardi get married at the end of the route, okay? Cute, right? Cute. Finis is dead, but cute. Lupin's route is a pretty satisfying route, bringing all the things together from the whole game in one big package. I also appreciate Lupin as a love interest. I mean, he's smart, kind, cunning, always smiling. What more could you want in a man? I mean, come on! What makes Code Realize so great? Well, it's a game that covers a wide variety of topics, ranging from abuse, PTSD, to family, to forgiveness, and it manages to balance all those activities really well. Its main character has a lot of agency in the story. The music is awesome, the CGs are great, the love interests are all interesting. I mean, what more could you want? If you haven't played Code Realize Guardians of Rebirth, do it, because there's so much stuff about it I didn't even get to mention in this video that you should explore for yourself. Pick it up when you get the chance. Even if you don't think you're gonna like a tome like I did, you should definitely give it a shot. So what do you think of Code Realize Guardians of Rebirth? Who is your favorite love interest? And tell me why it's Fran in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Please give a like and subscribe. I don't get any money from this because I don't have enough subscribers right now, so if you subscribe and help me out, that would be great. And if you really like my work, I have a Patreon account at patreon.com/Norbez, where you can support my work, get rewards, you know, all that good stuff. So, you know, go do that. And don't think I forgot about the giveaway. We're giving away one precious Lupin boy here. What you have to do to kind of win him is reply to the tweet in the pinned comments and tell me what you didn't like and liked about this video, because I want feedback, I want to improve, and by doing that, you get to enter the giveaway. By the way, if you want some more Code Realize content from me, I did also release an article on Anime Feminist about reading Code Realize as a queer allegory. I'll leave the link in the description, you can check it out at your convenience. Alright, I think that just about does it. I'm Bez from Your Big Brother Plays, and thank you for watching.